Hello, and in this video I'm going to look at the part 2 topic, describe a magazine, and you should say what the magazine is, when you started reading this magazine, what the content is, and explain why you like this magazine. The magazine that I would like to talk about is called 442. It takes its name from the football formation of the same name, 442. This magazine is published once a month, and as the title suggests, it is all about football. The major reason why I enjoy reading this sports mag is that for the most part, the articles are in depth, so you find out a lot about legendary or up-and-coming football players. I'm not entirely sure when I first started reading it. If I remember rightly, my parents bought me a subscription to it for my birthday a few years ago. I love it so much that I've renewed the subscription every year. It is great value for money because it's jam-packed with articles and insightful info. Some glossy magazines are full of adverts, and this can be quite annoying because there isn't much content. But what I love about this mag is that although there are adverts, they are not on every other page. They tend to be just at the back of the magazine. One particular article that I read recently was about Cristiano Ronaldo, and rather than just concentrating on his accomplishments and his celebrity lifestyle, this article discussed in depth how he trains, what he eats, etc., and therefore I found it a fascinating insight into what makes him an incredible footballer. So let's take a look at some of the language in this model answer. This word formation, interesting if you're interested in football. We talk about football formations, so you can have 4-4-2, you can have 3-5-1 if you're playing 3 at the back, 5 in midfield and 1 up front. And the traditional formation in football is 4-4-2, 4 defenders, 4 midfielders and 2 strikers. So that's why it's called 4-4-2. Mag. This is a short form of magazine and it can be used to describe magazines. The articles are in depth. This means they're very thorough, they're very detailed. Now here I could have said famous football players, but I've said legendary just so it makes it more complex. So a legendary footballer would be somebody like Pelé or Ronaldo or Messi. These are legend, they're very famous. Up and coming, you can have up and coming people in the world of fashion, you can have an up and coming actor, an up and coming writer. It's somebody who is not yet that famous, but is on the rise, is becoming more and more famous. So a player might be somebody like Leroy Sané, if you're interested in football, plays for Manchester City. He's an up-and-coming football player. We've got some good idiomatic expressions here, if I remember rightly, so very useful for introducing anything where you're thinking back to something, if I remember rightly. A subscription is when you pay an amount of money annually, say $30, and then every month you get a copy of the magazine, and it's often cheaper to have a subscription. To renew means to take out the subscription again. Jam-packed with. This is a great informal phrase for meaning something's full of something. So if you're talking about your hometown or a place that you've visited, you could say in the summer, it's jam-packed with tourists. Insightful info. Info is a short way of saying information. We use it in speaking, don't use it in writing. Insightful info means useful information where you're getting more knowledge about something. You're getting an insight in something, so you're seeing into it in much greater detail. For this topic of magazines, this is a very good collocation. Glossy magazines most magazines are glossy, to be honest, nowadays, but they're the magazines that are full of pictures, very shiny pages, quite expensive magazines we'd call glossy magazines. Content, that means there isn't much in it, there aren't many articles, there's not much to read. Accomplishments, here I could have used his success. I was just trying to use something different because you need to focus on less common language. So his accomplishments, his victories, his success. And we had in-depth articles. Here you've got a collocation to discuss in depth. So it means in detail. A fascinating insight. Again, it's when we had insightful info. An insight is where you see into something in a little bit more detail. Hope you found the video useful. Thanks for watching.